Hello out there in the fall of Western civilization. Welcome to Thrones of Game, the only Game of Thrones podcast that dares to watch the show backwards like a couple of renegades, y'all. If you never heard the show before, I usually don't open like that, so that's why Elliot's laughing at me. My name is BT Calloway. I've already seen the entire show, but joining me, laughing his ass off, is Elliot Jay O'Neill, who had never watched a single episode of the show until we started watching in reverse order. Elliot, how are you, buddy?
I move my mouth away from the mic when I laugh.
You're like chocolate rain all over again. We just watched Season 4, Episode 10, entitled The Children. Elliot Jay O'Neill, what just happened? I'll tell you what just happened. A bunch of awesome stuff. This episode fucks. My arch nemesis, the frickin' music stand, has got me again. How does that keep happening?
Why do you keep putting it there?
I
don't! Oh my god, finally. And it's not like this is an episode where actually a lot happens. It's just what happened was very good.
I know, so good.
And like I was trying to put it in the context of, would this be a satisfying finale? And I tell you what, this is a fucking satisfying opener to Season 4 for me.
I know, because, listeners may remember, I was starting to question, was Game of Thrones ever good? And I'm like, saw this one, like, this is like the best episode we've seen.
Yeah, I don't have context for half the shit they're talking about, yet it was all still engaging. The characters were amazing. The acting was just off the chain.
Yeah, so I have, multiple MVPs. But before we get into that, for everyone playing at home, this is the one where Tyrion escapes, shoots his father on the toilet. Arya leaves the Hound, begging for his life, gets on a boat. Bran finally makes it to the Three-Eyed Raven, and the kid from the Spiderwick Chronicles gets stabbed. Dan Brady chains up the dragons. So much happens in this.
I knew I vaguely recognized that kid from a supermarket discount DVD.
Yeah, exactly, that kid. If it's not that kid, it looks a shit ton like it.
If not, it's Percy Jackson.
Yeah, exactly.
Out now at a Woolworths near you.
But come on, let's get right into it. What of all this amazingly awesome stuff was your MVP?
I just want to take actually one moment for least valuable player.
Yeah.
I think Podrick was shit in this episode.
True, he's nowhere near as endearing. He really didn't get to do anything other than kind of be a screw-up. Well,
in all the background scenes of all the tense moments, he looked fucking bored.
I do really like the bit where, Brienne of Tarth is talking to Arya, and then the Hound walks out, and you can tell Podrick recognizes him. He's like, oh shit. He puts it together first, and Brienne's still, hi everyone, how you doing?
I don't know, maybe in all the scenes where they pulled focus on him, but I swear to fucking Christ, when he thought the scene wasn't about him, he just wasn't doing anything. But, minor gripe.
Yeah.
Oh, God, most valuable player? I don't know, what do you got? Have you got something banked?
I have got, 5. Okay, whole thing starts off with Jon walking through a bit of a battlefield, and he goes to the tent with Mance Rayder to have a bit of a negotiation. But what I really liked is just their back and forth. It's two very interesting characters having very realistic and good dialogue. Like you said, even the scenes where you don't necessarily have context for what's going on, it's still really compelling and really interesting. They share a drink to Ingrid, and then there's there's a great bit where Mance Rayder is all like, one of our giants went into your tunnel and never came out. He goes, yeah, he died. He's like, he was the last of a great bloodline, one of the original giants from way back when. He's like, a farmer killed him. And they're both dead now, so...
Yeah. But, they sort of share their sympathies in this moment, and I like how this scene ends where, Jon ready to and he's like, I know your moves. You were going to kill us, but you didn't have a chance. I can see. I play 3D chess as well.
Yeah, we're both on this level. Yeah, it was a good minute, and then Stannis Baratheon just shows up with all the horses, and...
See, again, what point is there me getting pissed off at Game of Thrones I've already seen, but for the amount of a big deal they make out of Stannis Baratheon, he really doesn't fucking matter in the rest of the series.
Really doesn't, but that, again, was kind of the point. I remember watching this a Forward Watch and being like, okay, Stannis is going to go to Winterfell, and he's going to be the one that liberates from the Boltons, and no, he got fucked real hard. Okay, well... Everything sucks and I'm sad now, but in a fun, thrilling way.
Actually, in another, I can't believe this is where this character started. Assuming this is his first episode. Get on with it, Elliot. Yep. Davos is such a bootlicker.
Yeah. I think you get a little bit more background onto why he's such a bootlicker lately. I'm pretty sure Stannis has some of his fingers.
Oh.
I'm going back a while here, but it's probably going to come up soon. His gloved hand has a couple of padded fingers because he had them cut off for being disrespectful or something. So he's been beaten into submission.
Huh. There we go.
But he's still Sir Davos, and he's still awesome, but not as awesome right now. But yeah, that whole bit with Mans Raider has a great little bit with Stannis rocks up. And he's like, "Oh, you're meant to kneel before a king," and Mans Raider's just like, "We don't kneel." And he's like, we don't have anywhere to put you all, and we can't feed you all, so you may as well just beg to me now, so I'll spare you." He's like, "We don't kneel." He's like, nice.
It's like when those marathon organizers approached your family and you were all like, "We do not run." So you can walk it. We do not run.
It's not a thing. Choose not to run.
And yeah, in the same moment as well, Tormund Giantsbane really showing his fucking range as an actor. Because I just thought, when I first met him, that he was going to be the fun, drunk wildling guy, shitting pants and drinking booze. But watching him in these earlier episodes where he's like,
he's so serious, and it's good too. That's the other thing. Like, I think that was the problem why I didn't really remember him in the Forward Watch, was that he's a good, serious character, but there are so many good, serious characters that they just kind of fall to the wayside, which is where he became a comedic character who still had some serious moments. He was way more memorable.
But he's just so good at that fucking unblinking stare and just, the way he goes, fucking, the dead don't give a shit about us or whatever. Like,
where he's all like, John's all, "Would you like to say some words about your dead folks?" And he's like, "The dead can't hear us," whatever. And he's got a great line as well when he's like, talking to John. He's like, "So what's going to happen to us?" And John's like, "I suppose Stannis is in charge." And I was like, "You do what he says." He's like, "No, well, you'll never be a kneeler again, Jon Snow." I'm like, "Ooh, I like that." Even though he does kneel to Daenerys, but still, interesting stuff.
Still.
Like I said, I'm not going to blame future episodes on not carrying... No, I am going to blame future episodes for not carrying this torch properly, because again, such a good episode!
Well, this was like a fucking reunion for me as well. Like, there are so many characters that I'm pretty sure I haven't seen at all in season 5. Like, I had a quick thumb through my notes. Yeah, the Hound, that was season 6. Fucking Bran. How long ago was old Bran and Tree Man? Jesus.
I mean, and I didn't even note it was long enough for me to not realize Tree Man looks completely different.
So does old Bran.
Yeah, I know. Old Bran at least has the excuse of puberty hit him. But Tree Man is like literally a different actor, and he's got kind of like a long, flowy, thin white Fu Manchu style beard going on, and he's less built into the tree like we see in season 6.
Yeah.
And the children of the forest as well are basically just look like children, whereas later they kind of have some weird makeup effects going on. And I appreciate maybe they didn't know what they were doing yet, but why didn't they know what they were doing yet?
Yeah, like, it's truly bizarre to track this part of the overarching storyline in Game of Thrones, because there is just such a disconnect between this and what we saw, albeit ages ago, but still, like, aesthetically it looked different. Since when can't the dead were able to very well walk into the tree when we saw it?
Yeah, I forgot about that bit. There was a barrier that they did break, if you remember, when the Night's King show up. But yeah, it's like a whole other show that kind of just took this one and got the gist of it, and that's what it ran with, whereas everything here was just so much fun.
And Bran as well. He turned 40, like, between these seasons.
He really did. Like, as I said, puberty hit him hard.
I reckon that's why he wasn't in season 5. He was just probably testy popping all over the place. Yeah.
I'm the three-eyed raven.
It's hard to take that kid seriously.
It would be, to be entirely fair. That was definitely a problem. I think they kind of lucked out with Maisie Williams now being eternally, like, 17. But yeah.
Holy fuck, her hair looks good in this episode.
She's just that perfect level of filthy where it's believable but also kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I didn't notice how sort of high and tight it was before, and kind of how...
Well, we've only seen her in like a bob cut the whole time, and, other things where she's being an assassin, she's got the 2 little braids. It's a little too neat, whereas here was like dirty and ragged and interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. It was one of those things I'm like, why do you look so awesome right now? It's like, this is why you were a big deal. This is why everyone loved your character.
I honestly think everyone looked way more awesome at this stage in the show. Like, I don't know. Maybe it was just the set design was just had a bit more focus on it, or they weren't resting on their laurels or something. I don't know. Just,
yeah.
I don't really want to get too swept up in this, because, like, it's just, I felt like I was watching a different show.
I know. I mean, maybe it's just because it's a season final and they poured way more into it. But that said, we've covered, 3 season finals now?
Yeah.
None of them were this good.
I will say, in terms of fashion, though, there is no fucking way they had a dress with the circle cut out for the cleavage in any time that resembled this.
Fantasy.
Yeah, I know. But,
wizard did it.
Yeah, but also, a wizard. Fucking, no. I drew a circle with my finger.
Yep, and now cleavage.
Yeah.
Ah, man. Okay, but just quickly, we hit on Arya just then, and another contender for my MVP was the bit between her and the Hound. The Hound's been shoved off shoved off a cliff by Brienne. He's dying, has a nasty broken leg, and he's just trying to enrage her to get her to kill him, and clearly struggling with pain, and she's just stoically just sitting there. But in the fact that we know why she doesn't kill him later on, she's kind of forgiven him at this point. He's not on the list anymore.
Yeah.
And there's actually a great little reluctance in Arya, just thinking about it, but then not wanting to do it despite all the terrible things he's saying. And it's shot where she's incredibly still, but he's like twitching with pain. And both of them are acting so good, even though Maisie Williams is just doing face. That's about it. But it works. It's so well. It's so good.
No, but acting opposite that dude as well, who building that dialogue perfectly in that scene. From going to the, trying to manipulate by going, don't make me say it, to when she's walking away, just, hey, I'm explicitly stating what I want you to do now.
Yeah.
Come back and do it, please.
And he goes, I remember when I killed that friend of yours. He tries to make a big deal out of that, and that doesn't get the rise. He's like, I could have ravaged your sister. Oh, I should. Ooh, really wanted to. But even then, he's not lying. He's not saying, I did, just to piss her off.
Imagine trying to piss someone off with intentions. I saw your lunch in the fridge that had your name on it.
And I thought, wouldn't that be tasty if I were to take that, pretend I didn't eat it, but...
I grabbed a fork, and I looked at it, and then I put the fork back in the drawer.
Because I'm so mean.
This fucking close.
Nearly poked it with a fork.
Renegade.
Pew, pew, pew. Other MVP possibilities was your first introduction to Tywin Lannister, played by the incomparable Charles Dance. Add him to the list of people who can read me a story sometime. But between him and Cecil Lannister, and that was just amazing dialogue left, right, and center as well.
That was really amazing, me trying to pick up on what their relationship was.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until she finally said, I spoke to father. There we go. So I'm like, is this her husband? Is this another brother? Is this it?
No, she's got a great line of your legacy is a lie by basically saying, you know what Jamie and I are doing behind closed doors, or do you pay so little attention to your actual family because you're so busy talking about how important family is that you literally don't know? And he's like, he knew.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to figure out how to read that scene, whether... Yeah, he knew, or he was still in denial and she was teasing him about it. And, there is many layers to pick up from that, I think.
Yeah, you'll see more of Tywin Lannister, a.k.a. Charles Dance, and he is awesome. But even then, I love that you see this dedication to Cersei in, she's like, no, if I leave, you and Marjorie Tyrell are just going to dig your claws into Tom and you'll tear him apart, and I'm not going to let that happen to my son. And she's like, I will tell everyone that, he's an incest child and will be dethroned and all that just to spare him what you'll do to him. It's an amazing part for her character, who has always had this dedication to her children that we've not really seen because most of them are dead in the rest of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, well, also, we're seeing... this side of the Jesus Christ of Seesaw that the range in her character alone, just the way she was trying to work with the truth, and then the showing vulnerability, but then fucking flipping that on its head with the truth bomb. Jesus Christ, there's so many layers in that performance.
I know, and it's so good, and they all nail it so well. A couple of not full-on MVPs, but honorable mentions to we like to call out the single part actors. So we cut to Dan Brady, who's now residing over some people. Who got an old guy who used to be a slave, but he was a teacher to his master's children, and the children loved him, and he loved them, and was like, I'd really like to go back to being a slave, please, and continue teaching these kids and being a part of something, whereas now I'm just a homeless dude. And she's like, but you're free. And he's like, yeah, but that's not really working for me. And yeah, the dude delivering this, stellar performance. It's like the one-off role he gets, but I think he nails it.
Yeah. No, and actually the dude who came after him, we've talked a bit about how hard it must be talking in this gibberish language and trying to deliver an emotional performance, but... fucking hell.
Yeah, the guy who brings in just the charred remains of his burned child that Drogon has scorched. And just, yeah, I agree. That was my next, minor MVP for this single role of just, all in, I think it's low Valerian or whatever it is. It's not some language Dan Brady doesn't follow, so it's another conlang. And yeah, it's devastating. You feel that.
No, and it's a good, balance because, the slave dude was like, here's the honors in this language. I'll speak common now. Oh, that will be nice for the audience. But no, that provided good contrast with the person who couldn't speak and was just, emotionally going, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is Drogon the dragon's name?
Okay, so Drogon is both the big-ass dragon's name and also the name of Daenerys' former husband.
Right.
Named the dragon after him. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Holy fuck, also heart-wrenching scenes with the fucking dragons, man.
Yeah, Dragon's Den, the prequel.
Yeah. Oh, and they were like... Because it only like occurred to me halfway through, oh, they're babies. Oh, they're babies. Oh, no. And this scene, because I criticized when we watched the one where Tyrion lets him free, it's like, all that was holding him was a linchpin, and it actually reminds me of the fucking fable of the circus elephant on the wooden stick. You know that one?
No, I don't.
The circus gets an elephant at a baby age, and, you know, to make sure it doesn't run away, but give it outside time, chain around the neck and put the chain on a metal stake.
Right.
And so, yeah, as a baby, it grows up with the metal stake thinking it can't budge it. And then when it gets older, you transfer it to a wooden stake because an elephant never forgets.
Yes.
But it can't discern material.
Yeah, although watching that scene, I was like, well, they're about the size of a very large dog right now, like an Irish wolfhound. If you ever seen one of them, they're big. But yeah, and then but later on, they're big enough to ride. So someone is coming down and changing that collar.
Oh, yeah.
Someone has to be. That's going to be the most terrifying job in the world. And I'm also a little bit weird on, Dan Brady's like, okay, I can't have my dragons flying around because they'll just scorch things and eat them and run away.
Yeah.
So what do? I know. We'll chain them in a dark basement. It's like, was that really the best idea? Like, you could have done something else. A light basement, for example.
Well, they clearly didn't know what to do with it because, they were just down there for ages. Like, I'm pretty sure we only saw them once and then they got released. Like,
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I also kind of thought they look pretty good, but not as good. Maybe it's just the definition of the television. I don't know. But then later on, I'm like, okay, this is where all the budget went when Allbran is making his way to that cave and, with the what's-her-face and her brother who gets stabbed. And all the skeletons bust out. And there's like, those skeletons look good.
This scene was glorious. And I'll have a bit more to say negative-wise on the Brienne and Hound scene, but... Yeah. If I can, the front load. Are we doing violence?
I was going to say, we're moving on to violence.
Is this violence? It smells like violence. I feel like we're in violence.
That was my smooth transition, but I kind of forgot to announce it. It was that smooth.
And then here's me going, look, transitions! Yeah, I thought this was excellent. It had great scale and movement. Jesus, and it looked good.
Yeah, it looked fantastic. It's a very harrowing scene and all these kind of dead things busting out of the ground. I did have to make a couple of jokes. Previously, we've compared Game of Thrones to Monty Python. In this one, I would compare it to Legend of Zelda because they're clearly...
I had the exact same note. I know what you're going to say.
Clearly making their way to the Deku tree and the Re-Deads pop out of the ground. They're like...
Yeah. It's like traveling through a Hyrule field at night and fucking, skeleton bokoblins are fucking on your ass.
And we get a good little meme moment. Meme moment, that's tough to say. Where Allbran does what you've only seen him do, and I think you haven't heard anyone call it warging, but where he kind of basically rolls his eyes into his head and enters the body of usually an animal. Yeah. But in this case, he's able to do it to Hodor, and giving us the meme, one does not simply warg into Hodor. Yeah, it's a perfect meme that just lined up beautifully in the world because we'll eventually get to Sean Bean, but not for a while.
Because at this stage, he has been and gone.
And then Jojen is the guy's name. I wrote it down because, he gets stabbed here. He gets stabbed, and then I like that it keeps piling on. Like his sister tearfully, finishes him off so he's not suffering. And then one of the children of the forest just pegs a bomb and it blows him up. I want her to be like, come on!
She even had this look of like, oh, thanks. That was like an emotional thing for me,
now I'm being rained on by his corpse. Thank you so much for that. Oh, look, there's blood on me now.
Yeah. It stops being this tender, heartfelt death to just being like, there is corpse on my shoulder.
Like, do you know how hard that is to scrub off? It'll be emotional and oh my God.
We don't do much laundry here.
It's very difficult, especially north of the wall where it's bloody cold.
Can't imagine the fucking Deku tree has a laundry inside.
No, first thing you say, you're like, I know you're the three-eyed raven. Do you have a laundry?
Yeah.
No.
You'll
dead.
never walk again. You will also never wash your clothes again.
He's like, this robe used to be white. Like, oh, ew. Yeah, but that was a good bit of violence there. I had some fun with that one.
So the first bit of violence as well, this is, again, where I really liked they were playing with the scale. What I meant before with the White Walkers versus the fucking Super Friends and Hodor. It's like, you know, how they were playing the distance with the bombs and the tree people and the retreating and all that. I thought that worked really well to drive the tension. But the scale in the opening scene as well, where, you have those droves of horses coming in a very precise pattern.
Yeah.
And it's all big aerial shots and lots of sweeping and all that sort of stuff. But then, once it hits the ground and all the fucking horses and they're doing like their drive-by fucking killings, but it's horses, so gallop. Ride by. Yep. Ride or die, bitch. And that's when they're doing like all these quick cuts and really visceral shots and like bringing it down to level. And I just loved that.
Oh, yeah, another thing I wanted to point out, when they finally do meet one of these children of the forest, they're all like, you know, oh, we look like children, but we're much older than that, proving that I was right. How old are children?
So this is the titular children.
Yes, these are the children. Well, it's weird that the episodes are named after them and they're in it barely.
Yeah. No, Game of Thrones is bad at naming.
They are. We are much better at it.
Like, I didn't know if we'd been mentioned to before, good sentence, Elliot, that
Read sentence too good.
Tilda Swanson's sword was called Oathkeeper. Is this why that other episode was called Oathbreaker? Maybe?
No, I think we went through that at the time because I knew that's what the name of her sword was. And
yeah, right.
Nope, she didn't break an oath in that. She never does. She's Brianna fucking Tarth. She's awesome.
Yep. So some 10 episodes later, I still don't know why it's called Oathbreaker.
Nope. Greatest We've solved the mystery of how does Dan Brady do her braids. They're entirely confidence based, but we've not figured out why that episode is called Oathbreaker.
It's interesting because, her braids in this one are more like, they're not really braids. They're like curled up hair that is also then doubled around itself. So you got
like a double helix hair.
Yeah.
Double helix.
So I'm guessing she's just new into this role and she's just finding her feet.
I think that's fair because, you know, she's presiding over these people. She's trying to be just and fair, but never really had to do that before. So I think she's doing well, and that's where the braids come from.
Yeah. She thinks, oh, well, slavery must be abolished. And then one person comes along, grey area. I will preside.
Exactly.
But anyway, back to Oathkeeper as well. This is the battle scene that I had a bit of problem with. And
really?
I'm curious to know your thoughts because I thought it started and ended awesome. I thought the middle chunk was terrible. Yeah,
it got very hard to tell what was going on, but I do love they start off with your traditional sword fighty thing, and then Brian gets the hound down to his knees and has a sword at his throat and is like, you know, basically, I don't want to kill you, like, do you yield or honorable and stuff. He's like, I'm not a fucking knight, and like, neither is she. So then they start beating the crap out of each other.
Yeah. He does the fucking Game of Thrones equivalent of grabbing the barrel of the gun and shoving it in his mouth.
Yeah. Brutal. But no, I agree.
Fucking grabbing the sword by the hands. Oh.
Yeah. But it worked. The middle, was very just hard to tell what was going on or who was standing where. And it was a few too many quick cuts too rapidly. Feels like they maybe planned it to be a shorter fight, but then someone was having too much of a good time editing it. And so gave it a little bit more when they probably should have left a little bit out.
Look, I mean, because I was thinking back to one where I think it was Battle of the Bastards, where it's like, I found, the quick cuts disorienting, but like, okay, artistically, is this sort of going
meant to be
into
the chaos?
Yeah, but I don't sort of get that from a two-person sword fight, especially when they've got such big-ass fucking swords. This is why I liked the beginning and the ending, because I think when they're on the ground and sort of, like, fighting in the dirt a bit and a bit more rough and tumble, then it works. But I think for the sword play, it was just disorientating.
Yeah, and it would have been a better contrast to have, this elegant kind of, they know exactly where each other are, and it's all about checking your footing and watching your opponent, compared to, the all-out brawl where it becomes confusion and whatever you can grab and hit your opponent with. And Brown just starts wailing on him with a rock, which is dope.
Oh, exactly. That's exactly where the fucking quick cuts work, because it's working with her screeches as well and her fucking desperation. But there was one good thing in the swordplay quick cuts that I liked, which was they were sort of cutting between shots where like the sun was totally in your eyes, and I thought that was good for sort of dealing with the chaotic nature.
Yeah.
But also, I thought it was just way too quick.
Yeah, I'm going to say, because neither of them, they have this whole thing about neither of them are knights, I'm going to say, don't bring a knight to a rock fight.
Title.
Yep. Not gonna lie, just click that one. I'm like, yes, good. But even before that, the whole tension of we all kind of know this is going to, or something's going to happen, because they bump into, to them it's this girl, they don't know it's Arya yet, they're just having a little polite back and forth, and then, then the Hound steps out, and it's like, oh, now we kind of know it's on. And because he was hidden behind the corner, we know when he comes out, shit's going to get real.
Well, that's a funny thing. I didn't know who that was behind.
Oh.
And I thought that was a bluff on Arya's part.
Ah, all right. Yeah, no, makes sense.
Yeah.
Be good to be like, there are people. Why don't you stop shitting and come over? Oh, you're going to take a while shitting because you have to take off all those weapons and all those nunchucks. Okay, yeah, no, that's cool.
You invented nunchucks.
That's awesome.
A thing.
They're awesome but useless. Okay. Yeah, but no, I really like. Then they had this kind of back and forth where Brown's like, I've been sworn by your mother to protect you. And I was like, I don't know who the fuck you are.
Yeah.
And the Hound's like, oh, we don't know who the fuck you are.
I thought she was about to have, like, when you pose a paradox to a robot or something. I meant to bring you back to your mother, but your mother's dead. Uh-oh.
Does not compute.
Tilda Swanson, malfunction.
But I do like the Hound's got a great line when, Brown's like, no, I've sworn to take you to safety. So he's all, safety? Where's that exactly? Everyone she knows is dead. It's like, yeah, fair.
Yeah. Again, fucking everyone's acting the shit out of it. Reunion special. I'm seeing the Hound again, who fucking rules.
He does, especially now as well. He's just the right kind of badass, but also knows he's vulnerable. There's a vulnerability, but he does it anyway. I don't know. It works.
Absolutely. But I think that's all the violence. Oh no, Tyrion kills a couple of people.
Tyrion's big escape. This is a huge moment as well, and a bunch of stuff that no one really saw coming. This stunned the hell out of me when he rocks up to Tywin's bedroom and finds Shay there instead.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh. Wait.
Betrayals.
Okay, so from what I'm gathering from this scene is that, yes, indeed, she was a sex worker that Tyrion was procuring the services of, and that's why he's pissed at Dad for doing the same thing to the one he loved.
Yeah,
pretty
much.
enough.
Yeah, pretty much. Again, there's enough dialogue you can kind of piece it together. She once upon a time was just a concubine, whatever. But then became a companion to him, and then there's a whole thing. You'll get into it. It's good. But this was like just a pin drop moment in the forward watch.
So he was going to that room to confront his father or kill him?
Well, both, really.
Yeah.
Probably both, but no, found Shay there instead. And bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, because he definitely walked with more purpose when he grabbed the crossbow after that.
Yeah, because now he's like, well, now he's got like double reason to want to confront him. But yeah, that's a harrowing moment, and like they kind of lock eyes for a second, and she goes for the fruit knife, and they struggle, and it's a nasty bit. And it's some excellent acting on Dinklage's part, where he's both furious and sad and reluctant, and there's that just bit where he kind of grabs the chains around her neck and then kind of gets bumped off the bed and falls and just realizes that's the perfect position and just chokes her out, and man.
Yeah. Oh, and when he sits in that moment and like her head's in front of his face and then it just sort of drifts away a bit and you see the tear coming out of his eye. Fuck.
Yep, vintage Dinklage. And then he grabs the crossbow off the wall and heads down to find Tywin, who's taking a good old shit.
Yep.
But no, again, I love this back and forth where he's all like, you've always wanted me to die, haven't you? And Tywin's like, yep. But you refuse to die, and I respect that. You know it's yours, and you take it. And it's like, even with his pants down, faced with a crossbow, he's still awesome.
Well, yeah, and he's still controlling the situation, and like, it's almost like he is expecting Tyrion to back down, and like, he sort of keeps planting his ass back on the plopper because he knows he's at the disadvantage, and his old ways of talking Tyrion down are probably not working here. I don't know. That's what I got anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, even from the previous scene, you can kind of get he's a man who likes to be well presented and regal, and here he is at the most vulnerable point of that, and he keeps, like you said, Johnny, we'll go back to my office. He's like, nope, we're going to stay here where you have your pants around your ankles and look like a dopey old man, and I have a crossbow.
I know you're not going to take any more steps forward because you haven't wiped, and that would feel really icky. Yeah,
well, as I said, apparently in the books, one of the crossbow boats nicks his bowel, and he then, shits himself, and apparently there's a line about... because there was always like Tywin Lannister was always rich, and it's like there was a line that he shat gold, and then after shooting him in the bow, it's like, Barrett, you don't shit gold. Tyrion out.
From the twisted mind of George R.R. Martin.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's just the ugly realities of death. People die and poop themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But then it plays a lovely version of Reigns of Castamere, which is always good. Later on, we get a kind of orchestral version, or choir version of the Game of Thrones theme. That's all good.
It's so fucking smart because they set up this choir version, then Arya talks with Mr. Ship Captain and bribes him. I don't know.
Gives him that coin for the House of Black and White that she throws into the water when she gets there and can't get in immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this just the equivalent of a fucking stamp your wrist and you can get back into the theme park? Like, what is the... Ooh, you have a shiny coin, then fucking...
You'll find out later.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. Or earlier, depending on how you think about it. But yeah,
anyway, I got distracted,
yeah.
So anyway, you got the choral version, setting up this scene. It slips into the background as she's doing this thing, and then as she sets sail, that choral scene is added again, but then like the sea shanty version of the theme pops up underneath where it's got like a little bit more of a swing to it.
Yeah.
And
it's like, adventure!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the word swashbuckling would be appropriate to describe it.
Oh, show. Yeah. It's a great little bit. I do really like it. I don't think I have any other notes on that. I already said shit's gold, so we're good for that.
Yeah, look, I might be out of notes. Like, we've covered a lot of ground.
There's a lot of ground to cover. Let me just go through. Have a bit of a funeral for Ingrid, but not too much to say on that, because, she's dead, so she can't talk.
Oh, God, there is no dirtier talk than fucking Jamie and Seesaw's goddamn incest dirty talk.
It's extra.
I told father
gross.
that we fuck, and then they make out, and it's gross.
Yeah, but again, it's so well shot and so well acted. You're like, yes, it's gross, but I believe it from these people. They're genuinely got a thing. It's weird, but yeah.
Well, I think that's the sort of the hard thing to reconcile is that you'd imagine, oh God, is there something I want to get into? That people committing incest would want to dance around it a bit, but no, these people are clearly into it.
Yeah, they kind of regress from that in next season, which is again weird given Cersei's just been like, fuck it, I give up. But then I guess, Tywin carks it and they have to go back to pretending, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird world.
Oh yeah, because otherwise they wouldn't be in charge. Right, okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
That gives some context. All right, cool.
But again,
I'm catching up.
It's not like they said that. We just figured it out here and now.
Yeah.
Tormund's got another great line when they're talking about Ingrid, and he's like, she loved you. And he's like, she say that? She goes, no, she always talked about wanting to kill you. That's how I knew she loved you, bro.
Like, this is a very irresponsible fire you're setting, John. I mean, even in snow, trees can still catch fire. You want to set your big funeral burning fires away from trees.
Yeah, I mean... They didn't have like a Smokey the Bear to warn them about forest fires. They just had literal bears. So I guess it's different. I don't know.
And then Bear Island Girl will step in for that.
Yeah, but fun fact, the woman who plays Ingrid and Kit Harington are now married in real life.
Ah.
So there you go. They met on the set of Game of Thrones. It was a genuine romance. How nice.
Do you know, actually, you remember Dexter, of course.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, his sister in the show, he married. And then they divorced, and then 2 seasons later, they spent like 3 episodes doing a weird possible incest storyline.
Oh, that's right. They did that in Dexter, didn't they?
And then they bailed on it when the sister discovered that he was a killer.
Oh, fucking hell, that show ended so horribly.
Oh, yeah. How did it end? Dexter was like in a
He's
line
a lumberjack now.
He's okay.
Yeah, fuck. Sorry. Way to bring down the mood by mentioning the final season of Dexter.
For our next show, Retzer.
I mean, depends how the theme music sounds backwards, but that's basically the basis of all our decision making.
Yeah.
I got a bit of Darth Maester when they're looking over the mountain's destroyed body, and they're all like, and the old guy's, oh well, he's completely dead, and Darth Maester's like, no, I can do things, spooky things.
And then this is ridiculous. This is a laboratory.
Yep. But I do like Cecil Lannister's like, Darth Maester's all, I can bring him back, and Cecil's, will it weaken him? He's like, oh no, oh my gosh,
weaken.
Woo!
You're worried if he's gonna get weaker. That's
girl. Have you heard of a makeover? It's like that, but you'll check it. Don't worry. You'll walk back to the castle when you're nude, and he'll be all. Trust me, it'll be awesome.
All things just keep getting better
when you're a zombie. Charles Dance is awesome. I've already said that.
Oh yeah, when the Super Friends, they're just such a cute ragtag bunch of kids. That's all I can call them. Yeah, so all Bran and his kid fans.
Yep.
When they are on their journey, there is like one particular shot where they see that red leaf tree and it's just being lit by the sunlight, and you've got these like beautiful sunset things where the sun's going down, so you got like all these pinks and oranges in the sky, but all these grey clouds. It just creates such an interesting contrast, and especially against that stark red tree. There is just some amazing fucking art going on in this episode.
And just some shot composition, and the whole thing looks like an oil painting, and so much better. I'm so much more excited about Game of Thrones now.
Which actually kind of made the final shot seem a bit disappointing, because it was just sort of heading out into a cloudy sea, and because the water's reflecting, it's not making much.
Yeah.
But I mean, the music got me through that.
The music cue is great, and just the idea of, onward to adventure is what gets you there on that one. I think I am out of notes. How about you?
Tree Man was just pissing me off with oh, I know all of you, and I know all your secrets. Yeah. That was annoying.
Yeah.
You won't walk, but you will fly. Fuck off.
Yeah, maybe that's why they changed him to the slightly younger version.
Yeah.
With a clipped beard. Or maybe between seasons they gave him a makeover as well. It's like, I know you're growing into a tree, however, why don't we just clip this beard, get you a new robe, maybe make you 20 years younger. Awesome. Oh, thanks. Just keep getting that.
That's it. But yeah, it just can I go one fucking season without a character that's just mysterious and all-knowing and fucking has the answers, but do you have a question? Like, fuck those people.
Because isn't the question the real answer? Whoa. Yeah, no, annoying. No nudity. We didn't even bother bringing it up. But that's fine. That's okay. It doesn't need nudity because the episode fucks.
That's it.
All right. I'm out of notes. How about you?
Camouflage.
When Arya was just hiding behind a rock.
Camouflage. Camouflage. No. No, can't make it work. I'm out of notes.
It might work written down, but not pronounced.
Yeah. No, it's funny because, like, actually, I thought I had a lot of notes, but half of them are like, what's this person? Oh, okay, I get it now. Who's this? I get it.
Yeah, I nearly ran out of space. That's how many notes I had. But we breezed them all with vigor because it was good. All right, we must ask our final question then. How did we get here?
Well, somebody told me that the next episode of Season 4 will be called The Watchers of the Wall. So I reckon Jon Snow's going to be busting out some really cool Rolexes, some really nice timepieces, the kind that you see Bradley Cooper and Leonardo DiCaprio advertising in an international airport.
Yeah, but are they, like, legit, or is he, got them under his coat like, hey, would you like to buy a Rolex?
It's the Watchers of the Wall. It's not the Watchers of the Kingdom,
Yeah, I mean, you take what you can get when you're at the wall.
Yeah, they're better than the Watchers of the slums, but,
All right, well, we will find out next time as we continue running backwards in Thrones of Game. But for now, our watch has ended.
Welcome to Season 5!
Woo-hoo, it's actually good!